So let me read some of the topics. Technical skills and teaching competencies of teachers in Antonio A. Maceda Integrated School in the new normal. Yes. Virtual developmental reading class for struggling readers. Okay. Maganda yung kay Ma'am, how do you read this? Geraldine? Almas, what preparation teacher broadcasters do behind the scenes of a teacher broadcaster? Learning in times of COVID-19, students, families, and educators' perspective, strategies in enhancing the multifaceted competencies, in teaching English using synchronous and asynchronous sessions, okay? And the effect of online classes on the motivation and achievement of students in public school. Sustainability of the reading abilities of the learners in times of pandemic. Synchronous learning in the elementary schools of District 3 Division of City Schools, Manila. Okay. Okay, so yun nga, at least, so right now we're just working on our topic. So yung sa topic, as I've said, yun nga, from the many teams, we need to identify, we need to focus. Ano ba yung gusto nyong magkaroon ng action research? Okay, later on, we will see how to formulate yung title. So at least nakikita na natin, mas nagiging specific, mas nagkakaroon tayo ng focus. So among the different teams presented, ano yung gusto nating i-goal? Okay, any more? So yung iba medyo mabilis sila, so less than 5 minutes nakapag-construct na or na-identify na nila, na-choose na nila ano yung topic yung gusto nila. Hybrid learning made easy. The difficulty of students in understanding the modules via synchronous classes. Okay. Okay. So yung sa difficulty, ito, na-identify na yung ano ba yung concern, ano yung problem, ano yung issue. So later on, sa action research, ano yung solusyon na gagawin mo para ma-address tong problem na to. Utilization of teacher-made video lessons in economics subject for students who do not have access on the online learning session. Okay, ito ano na to? Action research na to. Later on, I'll show you ano yung mga examples ng action research titles. Parental involvement in shared learning, impact for learners' academic enhancement, online reading strategies of teachers in grade, okay, its effectiveness na putol. The level of readiness for learners in synchronous classes in terms of using educational apps, technical awareness, and computer literacy. Okay. So at least yung kay Ma'am Myra, di ba? So dun sa bandang dulo, nilagay niya using educational online apps. So at least, nanarrow niya na yung focus niya na nagpo-focus siya yun sa paggamit ng online apps, technical awareness, and computer literacy. So, pag mas na-narrow down niya pa, pwede niyang specify anong specific online application. Okay? Ayan. Okay, so nakikita ko talagang at this point, at least na specify natin ano yung topic na gusto nating i-work out. Okay? I just feel if on this machine. Okay. Sir Natividad. Okay. So siguro sa mga hindi ko nabasa yung nila, later on if we will have more time, we will I'll look into that. Okay, so we now move on to okay, so thank you for the for your cooperation. Okay, so ito na. Creating action research title. Okay, so actually, yung there are different researches, di ba? So nakalagay din sa sa DepEd order, it could be basic research or action research. Pero it is recommended and it is highly encouraged na action research ang gawin ng mga teachers. Kasi nga, ang difference ng basic research with action research, basic research, parang nag-ano ka lang, it's more of advancement of knowledge. So nagdadagdag ka lang ng information, nagdadagdag ka lang ng knowledge. Okay? Pero yung action research kasi, from the word itself, it has an action. So yung action na yun, ini-implement. So pag ini-implement, mas para sa teacher, di ba, mas ano siya, mas effective kasi na i-implement sa mga students, and also meron talagang outcome, and meron aside from the outcome, meron ding nagiging output. Okay, compared dun sa basic research, yun lang, basically yun, nag-ano lang, nag-describe kung paano nangyayari, pero there's not much on the outcome as well as on output. Okay, so yun nga, kaya as much as possible talagang action research. Okay, so how do we create action research title? So unang-una, we need to understand that action research title is a working title. Okay, so working title in such a sense na pwede siyang mabago. Mabago depending on, kunyari sa school, di ba, meron tayong research committee. So i-approve kasi nila yan. So sila yung mag-approve na medyo kailangan baguhin mo yung title mo, ganyan, or baka naman approve sa school, pagdating sa division or sa higher pa, may kailangan modifications. Okay? So yun, depending sa nag-approve. Another would be, pag minsan, kailangan mong i-modify yung title kasi iba yung kinalabasan sa result, diba? So kunyari, ang title mo ay to enhance social skills. Pero paglabas ng resulta mo, hindi naman pala social skills yung na-enhance. Ibang skill yung na-enhance. So, from that, papaguhin mo yung title. So, kunyari, given approach to enhance, instead na to enhance social skills, ang nangyari, to enhance, social, o kunyari, to enhance, instead na social skills, ang na-enhance ay resiliency, parang ganon. Okay? Ayun. And also, it is contextualized. Contextualized in a sense na wala kasing there's no hard rule on dapat ganito yung title, ganito yung ganito yung number ng words dapat. O ito dapat yung mga words na gagamitin, ito hindi pwedeng gamitin. Kasi based from my experience, based from different, ang nakikita kong pattern, pag minsan different institutions, they have different rules or procedure in creating titles. So meron silang mga may kanya-kanyang rules, and hindi mo talagang ma-generalize yung rules na yon. And pag minsan nagiging contextualize siya kasi depending on the person din pag minsan. So kunyari, pag tiningnan ng research coordinator nyo, di ba? For him or her, ito dapat yung gamitin na words. Okay, so yon, kaya more of it's contextualized. So paano natin masasabi na paano nga ba tayo create ng action research kung working title siya at contextualize siya? So ito lang yung pwede natin i-generalize. Usually consists of action. So ano ba yung action na yon? From the word itself, action research. Dapat may action siya. Kaya nga siya different from basic research kasi may action. So paano natin masasabi na may action? Merong intervention, may program, may approach, may technique, activity, etc. Kung ano pang maisip nyo, yon. And dapat merong expected outcome, di ba? Kasi para saan ba yung mga intervention na yan kung wala namang pupuntahan, di ba? Kung wala namang goal, kung walang magiging outcome, di ba? So yun lagi, yung action for from the law of di ba nga, action and reaction, di ba? Kung may action, dapat may reaction. Kung may action sa action research, dapat merong expected outcome. Otherwise, di ba, yun nga ang sinabi natin eh, kaya siya naging action research, meron kang issue or problem or may concern kang gustong i-address, di ba? Kung hindi ma-address ng action research na yon, kunyari upon your study, ay hindi pala siya ganun ka-effective. So dapat, you will create another action research. So it will be continuous. Okay. So these are examples. So I'm not saying na ito, dapat ganito talaga yung format, di ba? So kayo nakakaalam ng sa palagay nyo, Kasi I don't know you personally naman, yung interest nyo as well as yung profile nyo, di ba? Kaya nakakaalam. As well as sa schools, pwede rin kasi ma-contextualize yan. So what I'm trying to say is, basically, ang action research title, meron siyang, yun nga, action as well as yung expected outcome. So ito, use of social story to enhance interaction skills of learners with autism. So anong action natin dito? Social story, use of social story. And anong expected outcome? Enhance interaction skills of learners with autism. Okay? Another, development of story cue cards to increase reading comprehension. So again, ano ang ano natin? Ano ang action? Development of story cue cards. And ano expected outcome? Okay? To increase reading comprehension. So yung sa akin, kung nakita nyo, karamihan dito, increase, okay? So kayo as a classroom teacher, siguro mas marami pa kayong may isip na learning na outcomes. So pwedeng enhance or I don't know, basta alam ko marami pa yan, marami pa example. Another is use of instructional videos to increase the numeracy proficiency. So again, ang action natin, use of instructional videos. Okay, so yung iba ginagamit utilization. So it depends on you. To increase the numeracy proficiency, that's the expected outcome. And then use of virtual reinforcers to increase attention span of kindergarten students. Again, use of virtual reinforcers, yun yung action. Ang expected outcome, increase attention span of kindergarten students. Use of Mentimeter to increase the class participation of learners. Yan. Use of Mentimeter and then increase the class participation of learners. That is the expected outcome. And lastly, skills demonstration through Google Meet to assess performance in a competency. Okay, so ang action skills demonstration through Google Meet to assess performance in competency, that would be the outcome. Okay, so yung sa iba, nilalagay na nila yung kunyari specific yung yung kunyari ilalagay mo na ng school, kunyari of Magat Salamat Elementary School, yun yung mga hawak kong school, and Manuel L. Quezon Elementary School, of Amado V. Hernandez Elementary School. It depends on you and it depends on the research coordinator natin na si Sir Jojo. Okay, so yun nga, so there is no hard rule naman kasi. So and yung mga ano na yun, yung mga wordings kasi na yun, so kunyari yung wordings na yun, dapat kung nilagay man sa rule na wag nang ilagay yung name ng school, ilalagay na lang doon sa sa paper, sa body, sa content mismo, okay? So yun, yung mga yun, madali na lang, 'di ba? Or do not use this word, 'di ba? Or use this word instead. So madali na lang gawin 'yon. Ang nagiging challenge lang talaga when in creating action research title is yun nga. Basically yun, ma-identify kung ano yung action and then ma-identify ano yung expected outcome. Okay, so once alam mo na yun, action as well as expected outcome, the other, yung kung may mga rules man na ililay down, madali na lang gawin. Okay? Okay, so now we move on to formulating the title for your chosen topic. So for 5 minutes, formulate the title for your chosen topic. Type your title in the chat box when you are done. Okay, so yun nga, when it comes to action research title, we just need to make sure na yun nga, complete element in such a way na merong action and then merong expected outcome. Okay, kasi yung when we say effectiveness, dapat specific siya. Effective in what sense? Effective siya sa anong area, anong domain? Effective in such sense na ano siya, minimize ba dapat? Ini-increase, ini-enhance, ini-improve, and so on and so forth. Okay, so kailangan specific siya para yun, para manarrow natin yung focus and mas maging established. Okay. So we now move on to from from the title, we can now formulate our research questions. And whenever we draft a proposal, actually yun yung pinaka-importante, yung title as well as yung research questions. Kasi from the research questions, ma-identify na ano yung content na dapat ilagay, ano yung dapat nasa related literature, as well as from the research questions, malalaman na natin anong methodology ang dapat i-apply. Okay? So that is very important, yung questions na ma-establish. Kasi yun nga, basically it's the totality of your paper. And once established na yung research questions, ano na lang, madali na lang i-fill in yung mga other parts ng paper. Okay? So what are the considerations in formulating questions? Questions have not been answered. Okay, so yun. So yun nga, dapat merong i-fill na gap yung study mo as your contribution. And then it should be higher level questions. Hindi siya yes or no. And then it should be written in everyday language. Hindi naman siya pwedeng mga highfalutin terms ang gagamitin mo. Kasi pag binasa ng ibang tao, or as much as possible kung babasahin ng diba dapat layman's term. Kaya kung kahit sinong bumasa, alam nila na ito pala yung sinasabi niya. Okay? And then concise and clear, not too lengthy, okay? So pag minsan hindi naman kailang isang bulto na ganito kakapal, tapos pag binasa mo hindi mo rin maintindihan. So dapat it's important na yun nga, concise and clear, manageable in scope. Manageable in scope in such a way na it could be done in at least a few weeks or few months, okay? So wag naman taon or di kaya forever, di ba? Yung forever sa sa love life lang yun. So at least yun nga, manageable na kasi if it will be done or it can be done in a matter of years, di ba? It would be parang it will be a burden naman para sa iyo. Kasi as a teacher, hindi lang naman research ang gagawin mo, di ba? Manageable within the context of work and resources, okay? Researcher has the passion for the question. Okay, so mas maganda kung yung questions mo as well as yung topic mo ay yung kung saan ka interesado. Otherwise kasi kung hindi ka masyado interesado or you're not comfortable with the topic, with the question, medyo mahihirapan ka. Based on own practice, kaya nga 'di ba lagi kong sinasabi, based on own practice, ang action research ay based doon sa everyday problems, everyday issues, concerns mo sa classroom. Nagagawan mo ng solution, i-address mo. And then meaningful to the researcher and will lead to additional inquiry. Okay, will lead to additional inquiry kasi kunyari may pressing concern sa classroom mo. May pressing concern sa classroom mo. Tapos may naisip ka na approach, ito gagamitin ko nga or itatry ko, implement ko. Tapos upon conducting the action research na hindi pala siya ganun ka-effective. It will lead to additional inquiry kung yun, magta-try ka ng another approach, another technique para ma-address mo yung concern or yung problem. Okay, so what are the examples of research questions? So from the given title, example I gave you earlier, so use of social story in enhancing the interaction skills of learners with autism. This is a qualitative study. So anong pwede nating itanong? Actually, magbabase din tayo, aangkla din tayo sa title. So una, ano bang gusto mong pag-aralan? What are the interaction skills of learners with autism that need to be enhanced? So ito yung kailangan mo malaman, ano ba yung gap or ano yung issue, ano yung concern na kailangan mong i-address. And then number 2, how is social story used in enhancing the interaction skills of learners with autism? So papaano ina-address ng social story? Ano yung mga approaches, ano yung techniques, activities, materials? Okay, and then number 3, up to what extent were the interaction skills of learners with autism enhanced using social story, okay? Yung extent dito, it's not a numerical kasi nga qualitative tayo. Even though yung question na to, pwede siya sa quantitative kasi yun nga yung extent. Pero yun nga, as I've said, yung extent dito, it's a qualitative in such a way na ang possible answers, possible results ay interaction skills. So kunyari na ano siya, it would be descriptive na na-enhance siya kasi dati hindi siya nagsasalita. Tapos eventually pwedeng nag-utter na siya ng few words or nag-start na siya ng interaction skills. So hindi siya numerical, hindi siya quantitative. Okay, I put asterisk here kasi what are the challenges in using social story in enhancing the interaction skills of learners? So, pwedeng idagdag to, pero yung 1, 2, 3 would suffice, okay? Pero kung kayo, um, kung kung ma kung sa study mo ay makikita mo din to, pwede rin naman, 'di ba? Pero 'yon, hindi naman kailangang sobrang daming research questions. Siguro 2 to 3 would be enough or pwede ring isa as long as yung isa na yun talagang very comprehensive yung discussion. Okay? And another would be development of story cue cards to increase reading comprehension. Okay? Ito naman, quantitative. So, up to what extent is the effectiveness of development of story cue cards in increasing the reading comprehension? Okay? So, ito na yung quantitative, numerical na, meron na tayong statistical treatment na gagamitin. Okay, and another could be, is there a significant difference in the development of story cue cards to increase reading comprehension in terms of titingin na tayo sa different variables? So ano ang possible variables? Age, sex, Phil-Eyre pretest score, etc. Okay, so kung gaano kadami or gaano ka comprehensive yung gagawin mong study, it will depend on the variables, di ba? So kung gusto mo, pwedeng dalawang variables lang. Kung medyo masipag-sipag ka or mas gusto mo talagang maging deeper yung understanding mo on that matter, pwede mong dagdagan ng variables, okay? Okay. So there's no hard rule on there is no hard rule on number of research questions. Okay? So again, it will depend on you as a researcher. So ano ba ang kaya mo? Ano ba yung doable para sa iyo? Kasi baka mamaya ang dami-dami mo nilagay na research questions dahil sa sobrang dami hindi mo na siya matapos, di ba? Or ano ba yung variables na gusto mong pag-aralan? Kasi kung saan ka interested, yun yung pwede mong gamitin na variables, okay? And basically, yun na. Yun yung siya, yung ito yung basic questions na laging dapat nakaangkla doon sa research title mo. Important na talagang establish yung research title. And then from the research title, huhugot ka na lang para doon sa research questions mo. Okay. Sige, let's try. This would be the last workshop. So, for 8 minutes, formulate research questions for your action research title. And then type your research questions in the chat box when you are done. So, kung kung mabilis kayo, pwede nyo i-write down na yung research questions. So, even though very limited yung yung workshop natin, pero yun nga, I highly encourage you to use this activity para ma-enhance natin yung action research writing skills natin. Okay? So kasi ang action research writing as well as yung implementation, parang siya habang ginagawa mo, habang pina-practice mo yung pag-implement as well as yung pag-write, 'di ba? Mas nagiging bihasa ka. Actually kahit sa anumang skill, 'di ba? So the more you do, 'di ba? The more you become you become proficient. Okay? So 'yon. So ang ang advice ko lang sa mga teachers, yun nga, yung kahit hindi naman kailangan agad na full blown ang ingay na ko. Nagre-recite. Hindi naman kailangan full blown agad na na ang action research kompleto agad, 'di ba? So you always start with the little steps, with the small steps. Okay. So and yun, dapat constant yung practice, constant yung writing para talagang maging kasi actually kung yung sa ano natin dito sa SDO Manila, 'di ba? We are aiming to have that culture of research, 'di ba? So, when we say culture of research, parang ano na siya kumbaga nananalaytay na sa dugo natin as teachers of Manila, na kahit hindi sabihin ng principal or ng supervisor o gumawa ka ng action research o dapat ito gawin mo tayo as teachers talagang ginagawa na natin. And aside from that na ginagawa natin, ini-implement natin, of course, di ba, as I've said, dapat meron tayong MOV, meron tayong hard copy, meron tayong black and white, na yun yung evidence natin na meron talaga tayong action research. Frequency of workload assigned, it's back to student achievement. How does workload assigned to online class impact students' achievement? How to increase retention students who take online classes, okay? How will the teacher make video lessons utilize help students learn and achieve the most essential learning skills in economic subjects? Okay? Okay, maganda yung kay Ma'am Jonaline. Okay? So, yun. Any more? So, and I hope yung sa ibang participants, kung hindi man tayo at this point hindi pa tayo nakapag-type or ng mga research titles, research questions natin kasi parang we're still composing, we're still constructing. It would be helpful for you to basahin nyo din yung mga nilagay nila para at least may idea tayo. Ganito pala yung paggawa ng research questions, ganito pala dapat, paano i-construct, okay? So, lahat ng means na pwede nating so aside from, di ba meron tayong tinatawag na 70-20-10, yung 70% natututunan natin pag ginagawa natin ng actual, yung isang task. And then yung 20, if we are, yung social learning, if we are learning from others. And then 10% would be yung formal learning. So yung formal learning, it could be yung webinar, yung mga courses, yung mga modules. Okay, so we now move on. Okay, malapit na tayong matapos. So, background for the study. Actually, yun nga, from the title, makakabuo tayo ng research questions, and from the research questions, makakaubuo tayo ng background for the study as well as literature. Ano kasi yan? Tuhog lahat yan. Tuhog lahat. Kaya I'm emphasizing it is very important na ma-establish talaga yung title as well as yung research question. Kasi once established yun, pwede mo nang buuin lahat ng parts ng paper mo. And once established yun, madali na lang i-fill in yung different parts ng research. Okay? So, background for the study, related literature. What is the background of this topic or focus? And why is it that background important to understand? What is the context of previous work that has been done on this topic? So, baka dati meron ng gumawa, pero bakit mo gagawin ngayon? Ano yung gap na kailangan mong i-fill in? Okay? To what else does the topic relate? Okay, so kunyari, you're a math teacher, pero yung study mo pwede rin ma-apply sa mga science teacher, pwede rin ma-apply sa mga AP teacher, okay? How can I situate my study within related professional literature? What is the theoretical framework that I bring to this study? Okay, so yun nga, di ba? Whenever we do action research, dapat meron tayong contribution. Okay, so sa existing framework or existing body of knowledge, how will your results add up or contribute to that existing knowledge? What are the areas of research and specific research studies that relate to my study? What are related professional references, research theory, and or practice that inform me? Okay? So when we say related literature, from the word itself, related, okay? Ang usually confusion and usually nagiging common mistake na pag sinabing related literature, basta kuha, ito, personal experience ko to, whenever I will review researches and I will evaluate researches, pag minsan yung sa related literature, ang misconception kasi sa related literature, basta nakakuha ka ng books, basta nakakuha ka ng articles, tapos i-ano mo na lang, basta parang Kumuha ka na lang tapos basta pagsama-samahin mo na lang. Yun. That is very wrong, okay? So, when we say related literature, dapat ano siya, first and foremost, related siya sa study mo. So, papaano mo masasabing related sa study mo? Okay? So, yun, babalik na naman tayo sa title. Okay? So, kunyari, as I mentioned before, yung use of social story. Use of social story in increasing ano na nga inano ko, in enhancing, kunyari, in enhancing social skills. So, paano natin masasabi na related literature? Okay? So, pag sinabi bang um, pag nakakita ka ng literature about story, pwede mo na ba siyang ilagay? Not necessarily, kasi dapat specific siya. Anong klaseng story? Dapat social story. Kasi mas maganda kung related siya. Kung meron namang social story, di ba? Huwag mo lang kunin yung about sa story lang, na regular story lang. Kasi mas related yung social story. Okay? And then, to increase interaction skills. So what would be another theme for the related literature? Kasi lagi kang aangkla, lagi kang babalik sa title mo. May I just go back? Hindi ko matandaan. Lagi kang babalik sa title mo, lagi kang babalik sa research question. Okay, so ito. So, babalikan mo yung research question. What are the interaction skills of learners with autism that need to be enhanced? Okay, so ang hahanapin mong related literature from the word itself, related, dapat interaction skills ng learners with autism. Eh, paano kung wala kang mahanap? Kasi nga, you're just filling the gap, di ba? So, baka pwedeng kung wala talagang interaction skills na exact, 'di ba? Kasi minsan pag nagse-search tayo, sa OPA, sa EBSCO, yan, or di kaya yung mga books, or wala talagang books na ganyan ng title, Interaction Skills of Learners with Autism. So, hahanap ka ng related. So, kunyari, baka instead interaction skills, ang kailangan mong hanapin ay socio-emotional or social skills. Okay? Tapos, doon mo pipiliin ano yung pwedeng applicable doon sa interaction skills. And then, next, how is social story used in enhancing the interaction? So dito, hahanap ka ng related literature. Ano ba ang ginagamit na social story para sa learners with autism? Ano yung mga materials? Ano yung mga activities? Okay? Kung walang eksaktong or very similar na social story para sa interaction of skills of learners, baka ang kailangan mong ilagay na related, somehow related pa rin, social story ng learners with autism. Okay? And up to what extent were the interaction skills of learners with autism enhanced using social story? Ang related literature dito ay ano yung gaano siya ka-effective, 'di ba? So, hahanap ka ng mga literature na nagsasabi na ito very effective kasi ito nangyari. Ito highly effective kasi ganito yung naging effect. And then lastly, what are the challenges? So, hahanap ka ng related literature na challenges, okay? In enhancing the interaction skills of learners, okay? So, yun, dapat related. Kung hindi man eksakto, at least some of the variables or some of the topic research questions related pa rin. Hindi pwedeng yung totally unrelated. Kasi of course, it will defeat the purpose. Okay, and then development of story cue cards. Up to what extent is the effectiveness of development of story of cue cards in increasing the reading comprehension? So ano ba ang related literature? Paano natin masasabi na related? So aangkla ulit tayo sa research question. So for number 1, ano ba yung so ang question yun nga, development of story cue cards. Okay? So maghahanap tayo ng story cue cards. Okay? So kung merong story cue cards, so yun ang gamitin natin. Kung walang eksaktong story cue cards na literature, at least cue cards, di ba? And then, is there a significant difference in the development of story cue cards to increase reading comprehension? So titingnan natin yung mga variables ng literature na merong study na ang pinag-aralan ay yung sa age or di kaya ay sex o di kaya Phil-IRI. Ito, kunyari, Phil-IRI. Walang kasi local lang Phil-IRI pretest score, di ba? Wala namang wala pang gumagawa ng Phil-IRI pretest score na action research na tiningnan yung variable na yon. So, ang pwedeng related ay any reading proficiency. Na pwedeng reading proficiency na abroad na pwedeng kasi ano siya, 'di ba? Ang PhilErie ano siya, reading proficiency. Kung hindi man eksaktong PhilErie, at least reading proficiency test. Okay? Ayan. To arrive at this overview, you need to survey important representative samples of the scholarly literature in the topic, summarize the contents of those work, and then group those work in a purposeful manner. Okay, so kunyari, nakapaghanap na tayo, nag-research na tayo, so paano natin siya i-organize sa related literature? Ayun, so dapat, ano siya, yun nga, hindi lang siya copy-paste na, basta pinagdikit-dikit ko na, pagbabasahin mo yung buong paper, parang hindi siya coherent, 'di ba? So dapat meron siyang coherent in such a way na meron kang nabuong themes o meron kang nabuong patterns, okay? So kunyari, para dun sa topic na social skills or para dun sa topic na social story muna, kunyari sa mga nakuha mong related literature sa social story, i-organize mo siya into different themes. So or different subtitles or different subheadings. So kunyari, social story. Ano yung mga pwedeng under ng social story? Ano yung mga materials or activities na ginagamit using social story? So yun yung pwede mo So kung puro activities, dapat lahat ng literature mo about sa activities. So ano yung mga usually topic ng social story? So pag maglalagay ka ng related literature, dapat all about, on that part of the related literature, all about the topic of social story. Okay? Yung sa cue cards, story cue cards. So, kunyari, story cue cards. How effective? So, pwede mong ilagay doon yung result. Kunyari, ang nakuha mong result, very effective siya. So, lahat ng literature na nagsasabi na very effective siya, pagsama-samahin mo. Pero pag may nakuha ka na may mga group of researchers na nagsabi na somehow hindi siya effective kasi ganito ang nangyari. So pagsasama-samahin mo din yung related literature mo on that. Okay? So when we organize a related literature, dapat siya, thematic, organized, coherent, tapos meron siyang flow na sinusundan. Okay? Ayan nga, group those works in a purposeful manner. Okay. So what are the steps in preparing literature review? Determine which scholarly writings are generally deemed to be significant and acquire access to them. As you read each of these works, take notes on, okay? And when we are writing the literature review, part ng pag-prepare ng literature review, yung source, 'di ba? Alam naman natin na ang source dapat hindi lang siya nanggagaling dapat sa internet. It should be scholarly. By scholarly in such a sense na dapat kung pwede journals, kung pwede libro talaga, and dun sa talaga sa mga authors na expert and reliable, okay? So ngayon sa Google, marami ng mga scholarly articles. Before kasi yung mga scholarly journals, scholarly articles, talagang kailangan mo magbayad para ma-access. Ngayon marami ng mga scholarly articles and journals na i-search mo lang sa Google, lalabas na siya. Okay, look for patterns. Yun nga yung binabanggit ko kanina. Look for patterns. Eto na. So, pag sinulat natin yung literature review, hindi siya basta may nakuha ka plasta, yon. So, ang organizing your literature review, meron siyang intro, meron siyang body, and meron siyang conclusion. So, ang intro establishes the significance of your topic and gives a brief preview. So, ano bang makikita nila sa literature mo? Ano ba itatackle? Okay? So, basically, sasabihin mo, ito yung nilalaman niya, ganyan, ganyan, ganyan. Okay? And then the body, of course, the body, from the word itself, body. Ito na yung pinaka-content. Dito mo na talaga i-explain yung mga variables ng study mo, yung content ng study mo. Kaya nga extensive information. Notable similarities, differences, points of agreement and disagreement, patterns, trends you have discovered. Okay? And then lastly, meron tayong tinatawag na conclusion or synthesis, provides an overview of what is known and thought about the topic and what is left to explore. Sa lahat ng nag-gather mong related literature, ano ba yung mas lumitaw? Ano ba yung mas nag-emphasize? Ano ba yung mas nangibabaw? Okay? So, kunyari, isi-synthesize mo na according to my, from the literature, it is said na ano siya, very effective talaga. Kasi even though merong mga researchers na nagsasabi na hindi siya ganun ka-effective, pero mas nangibabaw pa rin yung studies na nagsasabing effective siya. So doon lalabas yung synthesis and others, okay? So yung sa pag-synthesize, hindi lang siya ganun. Marami pang, there are other ways on how to synthesize, okay? And ano pa yung lumabas? So kunyari, nakita mo na yung in using this approach, ito pala yung usually ginagamit, ito pala yung usually na materials, ito pala yung mga activities, tapos ito pala yung usual na effects, ito pala yung results. Okay, so dito, dun mo na, from your comparison, from your analysis, dito mo na i-indicate na ito yung nangibabaw, ito yung kinalabasan ng literature review ko. Okay? Okay. And usually question to sa akin. Laging ko na-question to. Paano po ba dapat kahaba yung literature review? Ilang pages? Yan. So pag minsan yan talaga yung concern. Gaano kahaba? Ilang pages? Okay? So in the absence of specific instructions about the length of a literature review, a general rule of thumb is that it should be proportionate to the length of your entire paper. But ito ako, I usually answer, it should be exhaustive enough. Exhaustive in such a way na pag naghanap ka na sa, kunyari, yung mga sources mo, naghanap ka na ng from the, ngayon kasi, di ba, hindi talaga tayo makapunta sa physical library. From the different libraries, naghanap ka na, and then sa online, sa journals, ito lang talaga yung lumabas. And if ever may bago kang hahanapan na merong site ka na bagong hahanapan, yun din yung lumalabas. So, ibig sabihin, na-exhaust mo na. Kasi yung mga nakita mo, na-research mo, pag nag-research ka ulit, yun din yung lumalabas. So, ibig sabihin, na-exhaust mo na, okay? So, it's not more on the pages. Pero kung para mas maging measurable talaga. Kasi, ang hirap din kasi i-define yung exhaustive, di ba? Paano ma-define na, na-exhaust mo na lahat ng resources. So, if your paper is 15 pages long, 2 to 3 pages might suffice for the literature review. And but even though 15, so that would be ilang percentage? Less than 20%, di ba? Less than 20%. Kasi 2 to 3. Up to 20%. So kung 10 pages, up to 2 pages, okay? Pero yun nga, what's the advantage of having a comprehensive literature review? Pwede naman yung 2 to 3 pages, pero it would be advisable na mas comprehensive yung literature review mo kasi once natapos mo na yung study mo, dito ka aangkla sa literature review mo na nag-gather. Kung yung results na nakuha mo ay pareho, it would validate the results of other studies of other researchers, or it will go against the results of other studies and other researches. Okay? So hindi mo siya mako-compare, hindi mo ma-validate kung very limited yung yung literature mo. So again, it's very advisable na ma-exhaust mo talaga yung literature mo para magagamit mo yun sa results and discussion. And also, of course, kasi yung sa results and discussion, di ba? Though hindi ko na topic yon, gusto ko lang i-angkla dun sa sa review of related literature. Kasi pag lumabas na yung results and discussion mo supported ng related literature, dun pa lang magiging established yung yung conclusion mo, recommendations mo, Yun. Okay. So it's very so malaki talaga it's very important na yung review of related literature is comprehensive, not just because for the review of related literature but also for the other parts of the paper. Okay. And to end this topic, okay. So, kung nakikita nyo, ito si kumparing, kumparing, lolo ko pala, hindi pala kumpare. Lolo, si Lolo Einstein. Sabi niya, it's not that I'm so smart. It's just that I stay with problems longer. Okay? So, sa paggawa ng action research, sa paggawa ng topic, ng title, ng research questions, hindi naman kailangang maraming degree, hindi naman kailangan galing sa prestigious universities, hindi naman kailangang sobrang taas ng posisyon, di ba? So, as long as you stay with problems longer, stay in such a way na there is the willingness to address those problems, to fill in the gaps. Okay? Kasi if there's the willingness to fill in the gaps, kahit sinong teacher makakagawa ng action research. Okay? With that, thank you and good morning to all.
Wow. Thank you, Ma'am Joy, for that very informative and interesting talk. Now, if anyone has any questions, I'm sure Dr. Joy would be pleased to answer them all. Any questions? May question po ba tayo? The question and answer box.
Yes, meron ako nakita, sir. Let me read the question. Reach the gap of studies to other study. Yan. Ilan ang need na local? Ito pa yung usual yung tinatanong. Ilan ang need na local and lit? Same with local and foreign studies and the inclusive dates. Foreign literature, I mean. Okay. So with the dates, usually it is suggested na at least 5 years. So kung 2020, at least 2015 onwards, okay? But there are topics na we consider classic, di ba? Classic na mas makaka-capture mo yung essence ng topic na yon pag ang kinuha mo talaga ay yung 19 kopong-kopong. Okay? Yon. So, ayun, yun. I cannot say na hindi ko pwedeng sabihin na dapat lang talaga, dapat 2015 onwards lang talaga. What if nga yung topic ay talagang very classic siya, na yun nga, makaka-capture mo lang yung niya, yung content niya, if you will use a related literature na dated a long time ago. Okay? And yun nga, yung it doesn't have, hindi siya sa number of related, hindi siya sa number ng foreign studies as well as number ng local studies. As I've said, dapat exhaustive siya. Exhaustive in a sense na, yun nga, whenever you search, kung ano yung sinearch mo, using different platforms, yun at yun din ang lumalabas. So, ibig sabihin, na-exhaust mo na siya. So, ibig sabihin, kung magsisearch ka, laging maraming bagong lumalabas, ibig sabihin, hindi mo pa siya na-exhaust. I learned a lot. Okay? Meron pa ba? Okay, so with that, yun nga, as much as possible, I tried to simplify yung kung paano ko siya i-tackle yung topic para yun nga, para it should be very practical. Kasi it should address the daily problems, daily issues, concerns of our teachers. So dapat practical siya. Meron pa ba? Format ng research paper, meron siya sa DepEd order. Siguro ibibigay yan ni Sir Jojo.
Yes po, ma'am.
There are, to distinguish there's that require them to be separated. Okay. Ito naman ma'am sa na siya. Sa thesis and na kasi to, sa thesis and dissertation. Okay. So, as I've said kasi, yung sa, hindi lang sa title as well as sa I mentioned before, ang title kasi contextualized. Pag minsan, nakadepende sa institution. Okay? So, when it comes to, I cannot say the hard rule for the different institutions. Pero, what I mentioned is yung sa action research, yung sa title. Na yun nga, dapat meron siyang merong action and then merong expected learning, expected outcome. Okay? Till chapter 3. Sige. So with that yan, I wish you all good luck na from this talagang talagang ang pinaka takeaway natin ay makapag-produce tayo ng action research. As I've said, alam ko every one of you is doing action research, every one of you is implementing action research. Kailangan lang magkaroon ng written output. Na yung written output, kailangan yun yung MOV natin, di ba? Hindi naman pwedeng sabihin na gumagawa ko ng action research kung wala tayong may papakitang hard copy na black and white. Okay? So with that, good luck to all of you.
You attended last time the phase 1 of our training on research development, which is the lecture series, and I surmise that everybody here has gained so much, so much information among our speakers na mahuhusay din talaga. Yung ating mga master teachers, ating mga teachers, na I believe na lahat naman po tayo may kakayahan tayo pagdating sa research. Actually, researching is not new to us. Wala naman pong bago dito sa ginagawa natin research. The fact that we have our lesson planning, na kapag nagtuturo tayo, we employ lots of strategies na para sa palagay natin, itong mga strategies na to, the moment we employ them, makapag-justify doon sa hinihiling natin na learning among our learners. Remember, ang learning is actually a change in behavior among our learners. Kapag walang change in behavior among our learners, learning did not occur. Kaya po, pagka ganun na napansin natin, that's the time that the moment we ask, anong nangyari? Bakit hindi natuto yung mga estudyante ko? The moment you ask that question, you are actually philosophizing and you are into the process of researching. So ngayon, gagawa kayo ng paraan on which strategy is appropriate para doon sa problem na yon na mare-resolve mo the following day. And that is the very purpose kung bakit yung iba sa atin nahihirapan kasi hirap silang i-translate yung naiisip nila into language. Well, in fact, yung ginagawa nating lesson planning is already a tool. Yung lesson plan itself is already a tool for us to research. Tapos, yung ginagawa natin na formative assessment na nagpapa-quiz tayo ng 1 to 5, remember, at the end of our lesson, may quiz tayo and we want to make sure na may natutuhan ba yung mga learners ko on this particular day. Well, that is actually data gathering. Ang gagawin mo lang, ikikwento mo lang naman kung ano ang nangyari, what had transpired doon sa ginawa mong intervention para malaman mo na, ito pala, itong among the learners, ang nakakuha ng 5 ay ganun. Di ba remember, nagpapataas tayo ng kamay kapag tayo ay gusto nating alamin who among our learners got 5, who among our learners got 4, got 3. Tapos, we give focus on those who got 2, 1, and 0. Tapos kapag nagbigay ka ng focus doon sa nakakuha ng 2, 1, and 0, researching na yon. Kasi gusto mong magbigay ng intervention dito sa mga batang ito na hindi nakapasok doon sa standard natin, at least pasado nung naka-3 siya doon sa binigay nating formative assessment. You get it? So hindi po dapat nilalagyan ng stigma yung salitang research. Unfortunately kasi nung time na tayo ay nag-aaral, ang researching kasi sa atin na ginawa nung tayo nag-aaral sa mga professors natin. Sorry for those na naka-experience na to. Na pag-uupo natin during our first day of classes sa research class natin, yung traditional na siguro mga 80s, 90s, I believe na experience ito mga to. Okay, get 1/4 sheet of paper. Ayan. Get 1/4 na kagad. Tapos think of 3 titles. So tayo naman noon, during that time, isip tayo without even understanding as to why we are doing that. Tama? Tapos sulat naman tayo ng mga titles natin. Halos magdugo utak natin kakasulat ng mga titles without even identifying what the real problem is. Tapos pag sinabit natin sa professor natin, ang gagawin tatapon lang. Mali to, mali, mali, mali. So until such time na na-develop sa atin yung stigma na parang ayoko na, title pa lang, hirap na ako. Ganon ang naging situation natin during that time. Well, I think by this time, hindi naman ganon ang researching. Kung titignan natin, we have been researching since time immemorial. Nung time na nagturo ka, nung pumasok ka sa classroom mo, you're actually in the process of researching. Nagpo-profile ka pa lang ng mga learners mo, researching na yun. Di ba? Yun pa lang pag-iisip mo ng anong appropriate na teaching strategy for that day, that is already researching. All right? Now, I would like to congratulate Dr. Ancheta, no, for easing it up, no, para sa ating mga teacher researchers na ay ito pala yung proseso. So tinatranslate lang natin yung actually nagagawa na ninyo sa araw-araw simula nung naging teacher ka hanggang ngayon na nasa new normal tayo. Tinatranslate lang natin, no, binibigyan lang natin ng hindi naman kakaibang mukha. Pero binibigyan lang natin to ng pangalan kung ano ang nasa research world. Pero kung tutuusin, whatever you may call it, basta ito yung prosesong ginagawa mo, you are on the right track. Alright? Ngayon, ang pag-usapan natin actually yung methods. Kasi kanina si Ma'am Joy Fe, yung topic, yung title, saka yung background, saka literature, no? Doon sa literature natutuwa ako kasi sa proseso natin ngayon, halos karamihan ng mga gumagawa ng research ay topical ang kanilang literature. No? Kung bilang kung ilang literature ang nararapat, whether it is local or foreign, actually nasa institutional format po 'yan. Kung kayo po ay nasa graduate studies, depende po kung nasa ang eskwelahan kayo. Pero dito naman po sa atin sa DepEd, basta sa palagay mo, yung literature na gagamitin mo ay sufficient enough to justify yung topic na naisip mo, yung problem na na-identify mo, wala pong problema doon. Kahit po ilang literature yan. Alright? Okay. Now, allow me to share my screen. Alright. So, I would like to focus on action research kasi sa action research kasi malaki ang diferensya nito sa basic research. Na nakita ko nga po dun sa inyong mga title na isinulat doon, ang gaganda, no? Na nakakatuwa na ito yung parameters natin ngayon. Yet you were able to come up with beautiful titles, no? So anyhow, titles pa lang naman po yan. Working title naman po lahat po ng naiisip natin. We still have to consider them part of our topic, no, to explore. Kasi as you go along and as you go on into researching, mapapansin nyo kung saan ba nag-gear yung ating mga topic na yan. Okay, so working title po sila. Now, we are now into conducting action research. So action research lang naman, pag pinansin natin, ang layo-layo po nito sa basic research. Pero, ano ba ang meron sa action research? We have to bridge theories and application. Kasi ganun naman talaga eh. There are a lot of theories na makikita tayo, pero how are we going to apply these theories? Translate it in our classrooms. Alright? Now, for our session objective, so identify lang natin yung mga methods that we are using in conducting action research. Actually, action research itself is already a methodology. Pero since sa kultura natin dito sa DepEd Manila, ang action research na ginagawa natin ay isang pamamaraan kung paano natin mare-resolve yung isang problemang nakita natin inside our classroom. And then we employ lots of theories na pwede nating ma-employ dito. Ganun kalawak yung ating pagtingin, no, doon sa ginagawa nating research. And then of course, as always, we have to differentiate qualitative from quantitative research or vice versa. No, paulit-ulit po natin 'tong inilalagay sa ating objective para po yung kung saan tayo maaaring maging komportable sa paggamit itong mga research methods na ito. Whether you are into qualitative or into quantitative. And then, of course, we'll try to apply appropriate method sa chosen topic natin. Kanina nagbigay na kayo ng mga topic no doon kay Dr. Ancheta. And we'll try to translate that. No, mamaya meron tayong workshop kung paano i-apply itong mga appropriate methods na to doon sa topic na napili natin. All right? Are you ready? Ready na po? So sana lang po mawala yung stigma natin sa research, no? And as we enjoy teaching, researching also is fun. Oo, ita-translate lang natin. Para lang tayong gumagawa ng journal. Para lang tayong nagkikwento, no? Kung ano ang nangyari on the day that was. Alright? Are you ready na? Okay. So the moment you talk about action research, according to the University of Bristol School of Education, sinabi dito that action research is actually a method of systematic inquiry that teachers undertake as researchers of their own practice. So saan niya pinapractice to? Sa classroom. Di ba? Sa classroom. Everybody is a classroom teacher here. So therefore, it is impossible for us not to see something different sa classroom natin. Ilan ba pwede maging respondent sa action research? Kahit isa lang. Oo. May nakita ka isang bata, halimbawa, hindi participative. Siyempre may tanong na sa isip mo, ano nangyayari dito kay Juan? Bakit kaya tahimik lang siya? Oh, that calls for action research. Kung repetitive yung kanyang ginagawa, kung lagi mo siyang napapansin na hindi siya participative, there might be something wrong, no? You might be assessing, may problema ba sa language ko, halimbawa? Baka masyado akong brutal sa batang ito. May problema kaya sa strategy ko, baka hindi appropriate sa kanya. No, may problema ba? Baka mamaya nabubuli itong batang ito. Yung something like that. No? Makikita yan. Lalo kapag face-to-face tayo. Alright? So that is, actually, action research is our method ng systematic inquiry. Yung tinagtatanong muna tayo, hindi muna tayo magko-conclude ng isang beses lang until such time na makita natin bakit nagiging repetitive ito. Bakit parang lagi ko siyang napupuna? Alright? That is action research according to the University of Bristol. Now, let's take a look as to what action research is based doon sa definition ng DepEd. Sa DepEd. So according to DepEd Order number 43, series of 2015, this actually defines action research as a process of systematic inquiry to improve educational practice or resolve problems in classrooms and schools. Is it almost the same as that of the international definition? Yes. Kasi standard. We are into standardizing research, particularly action research, dito sa atin. So kung ano ang proseso nila, proseso din natin 'yan, no? Bakit tayo nagkakaroon ng ganitong proseso? The primordial reason as to why we have this is for us to improve our practices. Is for us to resolve the problems that we encounter inside our classes. That for us to resolve problems that we encounter in the school. It so happens that as teacher, we know our parameters. It so happens that as supervisors, we know our parameters. Likewise, among our school heads. Likewise, among our administrators. So ganoon po, no? Yung proseso na binabanggit natin as per DepEd Order number 43 series of 2015 na hindi nalalayo sa definition na ibinigay ng University of Bristol School of Education. Alright? Now, kung ito yung action research, tingnan natin. Kanina binanggit ni Ma'am Joy Fe yung mga parang preliminaries, no, doon sa action research natin. But by this time around, let us try to look, tama ba yung employment ng method natin the moment we translate the problems, no, Tama ba? So ngayon, research methodology is actually the specific process or procedure of or techniques that we use to identify, select, process, and analyze information about topic. So, ito po yung yung research methodology natin. Actually, sa mga research paper, itong section na to allows the reader to critically evaluate a study's overall validity and reliability. Pero sa atin kasi bilang mga teachers, yung the fact na pina-check natin to sa mga master teachers natin, that is already valid. Saan? Classroom mo naman yan eh. Ikaw ang nakakaalam kung ano ang nilalaman ng problema dyan inside your classroom eh. That's binavalidate lang naman ni master teacher yan or ni school head the moment na tinignan niya, inobserbahan niya yan eh. Alright? That's how validation goes inside our classroom. Ngayon, kapag naghahanap ka ng mga experts, halimbawa, you are already conducting a basic research. Academic paper na yan. Pero sa atin kasi action research, it may have 3 to 5 pages. Basta nandoon na lahat. Hindi naman natin kailangan ng mga highfalutin terms para maging highly academic yung paper natin. For as long na nakita natin na may resolution doon sa problem na na-encounter, that is already an action research. Huwag matakot magsulat ng action research kasi ito ay pamamaraan natin kung paano natin matutulungan yung mga learners natin. Bottom line, ang target natin would always be the holistic development of our learners. We write the action research because we love our learners. Nothing more, nothing less. Yung pagsulat natin ng action research, tapos gagamitin natin for our promotion, secondary na lang po yan. Secondary na lang. Huwag po nating sanayin yung sarili natin na nagsusulat tayo ng action research just because we want to promote ourselves. The very reason or the primary reason kung bakit natin sinusulat to kasi gusto nating tulungan yung mga learners natin. Sabi ko nga, yung promotion, secondary na lang yan. Okay? Okay po? So, ganun naman po tayo bilang mga teachers. All right, now, moving forward, you have to know our methodology and research design. But where do we go from here? Saan ba tayo pupunta? Fovadis. Sabi nga, di ba? Okay, now, the moment we talk about quantitative and qualitative, tignan muna natin yung data natin. Kasi the moment we talk about quantitative data, this actually tells us what our respondents are doing. Okay po? Pag quantitative data, this tells us what our respondents are doing. So while qualitative naman, offer deeper insights into why. By the way, kapag ka po quantitative po ang ating research, ang tawag po natin ay respondents. Kapag ka naman po qualitative, we do not call them respondents, but we call them participants or co-researchers. Clear po? Participants or co-researchers kapag ka qualitative. Alright? Now, the moment we talk about quantitative research design, actually tatlo po ito eh. No? Non-experimental, experimental, yung isa po pre-experimental. Kaya lang we will not be focusing much on pre-experimental kasi hindi naman po natin gaano siyang nagagamit. Pero ito pong dalawang ito po yung bugbog na ginagamit natin. Non-experimental saka experimental. Kasi the moment we talk about non-experimental, dalawang uri na pwede nating laro-laruin. Descriptive saka correlative. Ito yung madalas po there are a lot of non-experimental designs na makikita tayo. Pero ito po yung madalas nating nagagamit inside our classroom. Descriptive, correlative. Sa experimental naman, we have true experimental design at saka quasi-experimental design. Alright? Okay, now, there are considerations tayo. Una, tignan natin yung time frame. Sunod, tignan natin yung degree of control. Alin ba dito sa non-experimental o experimental design? Alin ba dito ang may control tayo o manipulate? Paano ba natin na ma-manipulate yung ating mga variables? And of course, the last one is the manner how the respondents are selected. Kasi dun sa manner pa lang ng selection of our respondents, nagbavari na yan kung anong klaseng design. No? Later on, you will find out ano ba yung mga yon. Okay? Now, for non-experimental research, actually this the label given to study when a researcher cannot control. See? Kung ito ay hindi nakokontrol, yung nakokontrol, syempre, experimental. Alright? And we cannot manipulate or even alter the predictor or the predictor variable or subject. But instead, we rely on interpretation, observation, and interactions to come to a conclusion. So ito yung non-experimental. One of the best examples of non-experimental research is descriptive. Kasi it is a type of research that actually describes from the term itself a population, a situation, or even a phenomenon that is being studied. Ano ba ang focus ito? How, what, when, and where questions, no, ng isang research problem. And less focus on why. Okay? So ito yung descriptive. Ngayon, take a look at this matrix. You look at the purpose, the time frame, the degree of control over factors or precision, and then what are the different code words that we are looking for in a research article and the example. For the purpose, we are to describe, halimbawa, to describe the characteristics of a certain phenomenon. Anong time frame yan? Current. Ngayon. Situation ngayon. Ano yung degree of control? Actually, wala. O kung meron man, napakaliit lang ng control na yan. And then, ano yung code words natin? Is to describe, interview, and review literature. So, depende yun sa mga descriptions natin. And example, profiling. Profiling of our learners, that is already a descriptive research. Oh, say for example, you are handling grade 4 learners in Araling Panlipunan. Oh, may grade 4 learners ka. Actually, you can profile them. Or pwede mong alamin yung kanilang learning styles. O halimbawa, meron kang isang theory na nabasa, gusto mong alamin yung kanilang typology. Oh, that is already a descriptive research. Okay? Kaya ba natin? Yes. Kayang-kaya. Kasi we have the data already. Alright? Next, how about a correlational research design? Anong meron? This actually measures a relationship, no, between two variables without the researcher controlling either of them. As mentioned, hindi gaano ang pagkokontrol. Alright? Now, here's one example. As I said, you look at the purpose, you look at the time frame, you look at the degree, you look at the code, and the example. Okay. For the purpose, we look into the we examine the relationships between variables. Ang time frame naman natin, it could be current or the past. Kapag correlational. Kapag prediction naman, you look into the future. Okay? Now, for the degree, mababa lang to medium. Kasi nga, nagko-correlate tayo. So, of course, you will be seeing their relationship, related to, associated with, or predicts. So, ganon. Okay? Pagdating naman dito sa example natin, we look into this one. The relationship of academic performance and the level of stress of grade 11 learners in attending a particular class. So, meron bang dalawang variables na pinapakita dyan? Yes. May kino-correlate ba tayo? Yes. Alright? Okay, kung may mga comments, suggestions po, later po basahin natin, no? Kapag natapos na po tayo. Alright? Next. How about through experimental research design? This actually relies on statistical analysis. May statistics na ito to approve or disprove a hypothesis. So this is true experimental. Tignan natin, ano ba ang purpose ito? May test ito. The test for true cause and effect relationships. What is the time frame? Current. There is a high degree of control over factors. Ano ang code natin? Functions, cause, comparison between effects of, yan. So ano yung example natin? The effectiveness of second language program on the oral skills of kindergarten learners. All right? Ayan. Okay? So that is through experimental design. How about quasi-experimental? Parang, ibig sabihin ng quasi, parang. So it's almost the same as that of the true experimental. Kaya lang ito parang true experimental. These are actually studies that aim to evaluate interventions. May intervention dito. However, we do not use randomization. Okay? Okay po. Okay. Now, example. Ang purpose ito, used to estimate the causal impact of an intervention. What is the time frame? Current. The degree, medium to high. Tapos ano yung code natin na madalas makikita dito? Functions, cause, almost the same as that of the true experimental. Tapos, one example, the effects of reading program to student comprehension. Ngayon, anong difference itong dalawa ng true experimental sa quasi-experimental? Dito ngayon papasok yung manner as to how our respondents were selected. Kapag ka po sa true experimental, of course, randomization ang ginagawa. No? Depende yan kung paanong estilo ang gusto mo bilang researcher. Yung iba kasi ang ginagawa, odd-even scheme. O, may class record ka. O lahat ng odd number nandito sa control group. Lahat ng even number nandito sa experimental group. Mati pang ganon. Or, meron kang fishbowl. Yung binabanggit nilang lottery. O, unang bunot, o yung pangalan, o control group. Pangalawang bunot, experimental group. So, you have no control over to which respondents ang mapupunta doon sa control at sino mapupunta sa experimental. On the other hand, pagdating sa quasi-experimental, you already set the criteria. So pag nag-set ka ng criteria, nagiging purposive yung sampling process mo. Kapag ka purposive na yung sampling process mo, nagiging quasi-experimental na siya. Alright? Of course, marami pa tayong pwedeng mapag-usapan tungkol dyan. Pero syempre nga, ang sa atin lang naman, kung ano yung most immediate na pwede nating maipasa sa mga teachers natin who would wish to engage in researching. Wag muna nating ibigay wag nating pasakan ng sandamakmak na mga terminolohiya yung mga teachers natin. Ang importante, makuha muna natin yung interest nila and then makapaggawa po sila ng kahit simple research na sa pamamagitan po natin bilang mga research coordinators sa school, mga master teachers, maaari po nating tulungan itong mga teachers natin who would wish to engage themselves into simple research. Okay po? Hindi naman po natin kailangan na masyadong madami po tayong ilalagay na kung ano-ano para doon sa research na yun. Ang importante na pasimulan po natin sa interest nila. Alright? So kapag ka po na-involved na po sila, na-engage na sila, unti-unti po natin ilalagay yung mga nalalaman po natin. And I surmise, majority of us here already have a deeper engagement in researching. At marami po tayo dyan. No? Nakatutuwa nga po na karamihan po dito sa atin, lalo sa mga school research coordinators, may mga nabuo na po kayong mga research in the recent, during pandemic. Kasi remember, during the registration, naglagay po ako doon kung kailan po yung huling research activity nyo. So majority of our school research coordinators inilagay doon very recent. So ibig sabihin, you are truly engaging yourselves into researching, and I congratulate you for that. Congratulations po. Ngayon po, yung passion po natin, maaari po nating ipasa doon po sa ating mga co-teachers, no, doon sa ating school. Mas maganda po kasi na yung leadership natin bilang school research coordinators na itatranslate natin doon sa mga co-teachers natin na nagkakaroon ng stigma sa research. We are going to make or create an impression that researching is not difficult to do, but it is as easy as 1, 2, 3, sana, no? With our help, no? Kung gaano nila tayo nakikita na tayo ay masaya sa ginagawa natin sa pag-research, hoping and praying na nagka-transcend yan sa atin. Alright? So that's quasi-experimental. Nakita na natin yung mga nasa quantitative research. Now, puntahan natin ang qualitative. Actually, mabilisan lang naman ito. Hindi naman to ganun ka highfalutin na ilalagay natin, no? Hindi naman to pang isang buong semester. Ito po ay para mai-translate lang natin dun sa mga co-teachers natin na hindi gaanong nai-involve sa research. Kasi pwede po tayong magkaroon ng isang malalimang pag-uusap tungkol sa research at magkaroon po tayo ng engagement kapag po ang pag-uusapan po natin ay basic research na. But as I mentioned, this is an action research. All right? Now, proceeding now to our discussion, we are now into the qualitative. Tapos na tayo dun sa quantitative natin. Okay? Now, ano ba ang meron sa qualitative? Kasi unang-una, we have to look into the 5 most commonly used qualitative research types. Okay? We have narrative, we have phenomenology, we have grounded theory, we have ethnography, and we have case study. Pero siyempre, una natin titignan dito yung dimension nitong mga iba't ibang uri ng qualitative research. Okay? We look into the focus. Ano ba ang meron muna? Pagdating sa narrative, of course, it is exploring the life of an individual. Exploring the life of an individual. So, ang narrative ba pwedeng isa lang? Yes. Pwedeng isa lang. How does it differ from case study? Talon tayo sa case study kasi ang focus ng case study, developing an in-depth analysis of a single case or multiple case. May binanggit ba ditong exploring the life of an individual? Hindi. Kasi maaring yung isang tao na ito, maaaring siya ay merong case. Ano ang case niya? Halimbawa, siya ay intellectually challenged. Halimbawa, will that be a case study? Yes. Okay? Pero iba yung sa narrative kasi ito buong life niya. Okay? How about phenomenology? Understanding the essence of experiences as about a phenomenon. Pero pwede ba siyang narrative? Pwede rin naman. Kaya lang, ang focus mo dito, yung kanyang lived experiences. How about grounded theory? Sa grounded naman, ang focus ito, you are to develop a theory grounded doon sa data na nakuha mo sa field. How about ethnography? You are to describe or interpret a cultural group or a social group. Okay? So doon pa lang sa focus, makakuha na tayo kung anong klaseng qualitative research ang pwede nating kita o magawa. Alright? Okay, next. How about data collection? So for narrative, primary interview saka documents. So pwede tayo mag-documentary analysis dito. Tapos pwede tayo magkaroon ng pag-i-interview. Sa narrative ba pwedeng guided question? Yes. O may guide ka kasi may focus ka eh. Sa case study ba pwedeng magkaroon ng ah, guided question? Yes. Kasi may gusto kang hanapin eh. Sa phenomenology ba, halimbawa, pwede bang maging guided yung question mo? The answer is no. Okay? So sa phenomenology, pag-gather mo ng information, sa data collection mo, you have to have an in-depth uh, question, in-depth interview. So ibig sabihin, yung interview mo unstructured. So unang tanong, pwede ka magtanong. Pero the second question would rely on his answer to your first question. At tuloy-tuloy na yon. Alright? For grounded theory, may guided questions ba to? Yes. Kasi you have to saturate kasi yung mga categories into details para makagawa ka ng theory. Remember, sa grounded theory, ang gagawin mo, theory. Okay? Knowledge generation. So 20 to 30, pag grounded. Sa phenomenology, hanggang 10 pwede. Okay? Sa ethnography naman, yung primarily observation saka interviews with additional artifacts during the extended period of time. Normally, 6 months daw. Pero if you will be asking me, I would go for 3 years kapag ka ethnography. Lalo pa pupunta ka sa isang uh, uh, indigenous group. Bakit 3 years? Kasi yung 3 taon na yon, doon mo makikita yung full cycle. First year, that is cycle 1. Second year, cycle 2. Third year, cycle 3. Normally naman, ang tradition, ang culture, nag-focus into 3 cycles. That is full cycle na yon. Pero wala namang problema kung 6 months yung pa rin gagawin yan. No? Ang lalagay nyo lang siguro dun sa bandang dulo, it may be replicated or di kaya meron kang ilalagay doon na there may be parang recommendation mo na gawin siyang into 3 years o ganun. Okay? So, sa multiple sa case study naman, you have your multiple sources, you have your documents, yung mga archival records or interviews and so on. Okay? That is for data collection. All right? Now, how about um, data analysis? How about narrative form? Sa data analysis, pagdating natin sa narrative, we look into their stories. We look into their epiphanies. We look into the historical content. Okay? Sa narrative naman, yung detailed picture of an individual's life. How about phenomenology? Pagdating sa data analysis, actually lahat of more on transcription. You look into the statements. Ano yung naging meaning niyan? No? Ano yung mga naging themes? Ano yung naging general description of the experience? Sa narrative naman, you describe the essence of that experience. Kaya nga ang focus ng phenomenology, lived experience. Okay? Sa grounded theory naman, ang pag-analyze natin ng data dito, yung depende sa yung open coding, actual coding, selective coding, conditional matrix, no? Until such time na makabuo ka ng iba't ibang mga themes diyan, no, based from the different codes. Halimbawa, uh, merong kang tanong, tapos ang naging sagot sa iyo halimbawa uh, I look forward to seeing our children succeed. So pagka gano'n, halimbawa, I look forward to seeing our children succeed. So pagdating mo doon sa coding mo, pwedeng halimbawa, pwedeng ilagay mo doon yung pagiging optimism. O that can be a code. Diba? So, pagka mayroong mga ganun, tas marami kang mga napagsama-sama ng mga ganong term, you may have that kind of coding na pwede mo pagsama-samahin at maging thematic na siya. Okay? Pagdating sa narrative form naman, the theory or the theoretical model, yung paggawa mo ng iba't ibang mga conceptual framework. So, pagdating sa grounded theory, yung conceptual framework mo na yon can be a form of your theoretical model. Okay? Pagdating sa ethnography, of course, forget as simple as that. Based doon sa nag-gather mong information, nag-gather mong data. Pagdating sa narrative form naman, you are into describing the cultural behavior ng isang grupo or even an individual, no, doon sa particular group na yon. And then, of course, sa case study, pagdating sa data analysis, there are themes, there are descriptions, there are assertions. Kaya lang, pagdating natin sa narrative naman, we have the in-depth study of a particular case or even cases. Alright? So, ito po yung nilalaman ng ating qualitative research. Well, of course, there will be lots of things to be discussed here. At hindi po ito makakayanan ng isang oras lang na discussion natin. Okay? Are we clear? Now, are there any question? Bago dun sa question pala. Kanina, you were asked by Dr. Ancheta on your proposed action research title, and then yung action research question or questions, and then yung mga related topics natin for literature review. Ngayon, magdadagdag lang tayo ng isang column. Ano po yung appropriate method mo? Pili ka po doon sa mga diniscuss po natin. Alright? So, paki-fill out na lang po itong ating itong ating matrix. Tapos po, pa-submit na lang po din sa ating pwede po bang gamitin ang coding? Yes po. Actually po, lahat po ay pwedeng gumamit ng coding sa atin pong ano. Kaya lang very specific lang po tayo dun sa very specific lang po tayo doon sa doon sa grounded theory kasi may iba't ibang klase ng coding. Okay po? Alright. So later po, sasagutin po natin yung mga tanong. Tapusin ko lang po muna ito. Alright? So okay na po. Ito po, kanino po natin ito sasubmit. Kung possible po na mai-submit po ninyo tomorrow, no, para po sa ating ano. At matrix lang naman po. Matrix lang. Alright? Okay, with that, sabi na ng isang Chinese proverb, ask a man a question and he inquires for a day. Teach a man to question and he inquires for life.